I'd now like to introduce Kaye as one of the co-organisers of tonight, and Kaye's going to share with you some of her thoughts on volunteering. Please give a really big Colac welcome to Kaye. Oh, public speaking, isn't it fun? God. Anyway, here we are. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kaye, and I'm here to talk to you about what is in your community, volunteering-wise. But before I start, I actually want to ask you two questions. So I'm going to ask two. Now, when I ask each question, I want you just, the first word that comes to mind is the right answer. Do not analyse what your answer is, okay? So, the first question is, what is something that you have always wanted to do, but you have never got around to do? First word. Okay, now the second question is, what has stopped you from doing it? I like your honesty. Okay, so now I want you to hold those two words in your head for now, okay? So what I'm trying to do tonight is about trying to find what you're passionate about. My passion in life, as some of you will know, is I go to Thailand, and I do a lot of aid work with orphanages over there. So that is my passion. Okay, I first started with volunteering or service work was back in 2006, and Rotary, the Colac Rotary Club, were going to Fiji to work in one of the villages, and I thought, oh, I'd like to do that. And I wasn't a member, but anyway, I said, can I come? And I did, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. That's another story. But anyway, it was one of the best experiences that I have ever done. So anyway, after that I did join Rotary because that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to do stuff. I live in a community, and my philosophy in life is if you get something out of something, you need to put something back in. Okay, so we had a business in town. The business was extremely good to us, so our theory was always to put something back into the community. So that's probably where my ethic of volunteering has come from. So I did join Rotary, and I did end up going back to Fiji, to a different part, and that too is another story, but it was also it was wonderful. Now what I'm going to say to you now is, one thing that I always say to people, and Melissa will laugh at me here, I didn't realise I actually started yoga at the same time with Melissa. She's far more graceful than I am. But can I tell you, if I can do yoga, anyone can do it. Grace often leaves the room, but I'm there. So where was I going with that? Oh, that's right, sorry. A friend of ours who was a bachelor, not a lot of confidence, rang my husband and I one day and said, I've just heard this man called Peter Bain speak about working at an orphanage in Thailand. It was set up after the tsunami. He said, will you come with me? So it's like a task force. You go in, it's like a backyard blitz. You get in. I've never worked so hard in all my life. But you do that. And anyway, my husband said, no, I don't want to do that. And I said to him, well, if I don't go with Des, he won't go. So Des and I toddled off. Des got off the plane at Surat Thani and was vomiting, and Bert's basically spent a week in bed. And I have never physically worked so hard in all my life. We went to a boys' orphanage, and it was another one of my wonderful experiences in life. Now what I'm saying is, don't say no to anything, because you don't know where it's going to lead you. Look, I now go back. It's my 6th year of going back to Thailand to do work in different orphanages. So I know a lot about Thailand now. My language is not very good, but I do know the basics. So this is my 6th year. Des has never gone back, but I'm still there, and I absolutely love it. And I get to work with other absolutely extraordinary people who are just ordinary people like you and I, who just get in there and do things. I have met some amazing people. Two people that I admire most in this world happen to be women. I'm not counting men. They just happen to be women, and they are 2 Thai women. One is, her name is Krupateep. She grew up in the slums, and very intelligent woman. She was teaching the kids in the slums, teaching them how to read and write, and the government tried to close her down. She was 16 years old. And her sister now have a foundation and run lots and lots of orphanages. They work with the people in the slums, and they've set up schools. So it's all about educating. If you educate people, then they can look after themselves. She is one woman, she's an ordinary woman that does extraordinary things. And you know what? Everyone in this room, we are all ordinary people, but we're all very, very capable of doing extraordinary things. We just choose to do things differently. My other woman over there happens to be, she's a monk. And she looks after the children at the orphanage that has children with HIV and AIDS. And she is the most amazing woman. She's actually dying of cancer. So every time you see her, you don't know if you're going to see her again. But she puts her heart and soul in, and she looks after all of these children. Because unfortunately over there, there's still a stigma about AIDS. You know, these kids weren't even allowed to go to the local temple to pray. They had to build their own temple, you know. So it's stuff like that. So I do a lot of that type of stuff, which I love. But I'm also here to talk about what we can do here in the community, okay? We have got lots and lots of different organisations that you can actually join, or you don't have to join, you can just get out there and do stuff with them. You've got Lions, you've got 2 Rotary clubs, you've got Rotaract. They are an amazing group of young people that are doing a lot of stuff in this town. Look, you've got Do Care, there are so many things that you can be doing. What's stopping us from doing it? We really have to. I don't want to die and say, oh, I wish I had done that. You know, when I get to the Pearly Gates girls, I'm ticking it off. I did it, I did it, I did it. And you know what? No money. It's a poor excuse. Sorry, whoever said money. It is about, okay, I've got to find a way to do what it is I want to do. So it's about trying to find what you're really, really passionate about. And, you know, we've got a lot of need in this town. It's a great town, but with all you girls here, and I mean, I've watched the energy change in this room 1,000 times tonight, you can be part of something really, really amazing. You just got to put your heart and soul into it. You know, cut the crap with the excuses. Oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. You know what? We can do it. If Krupateep at 16 can work in the slums teaching kids how to read and write, we have got no excuse for saying, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that. So, end of that little story. But anyway, but this is all about community. You know, we do live in a great community. We are really lucky. We live in the best country in the world. Trust me, I've travelled. We live in the best country in the world. And what I want to do is see this not just a great community, but about being a fantastic community, about everyone working in together. Remember, it takes a village to bring up a child. So, you know, we've all got all this energy. Let's put it into something. You know, find your passion. I mean, I said mine's Thailand. I also forgot to say that from saying yes to Des, I often say to kids that I take over to Thailand as an alternative to school is we go to one of the orphanages in Kanchanaburi and we work. And I'm a really hard taskmaster, and if any, I don't think there's any of them here, but they will say I'm a hard taskmaster, but they work their butts off. but they have the best time. They come home from schoolies, they remember it all, number one. They've had an absolute time of their life. It was cheaper to go there for 2 weeks than it was to go to Queensland and forget what you'd done. And they will never ever forget the experience. And some of those kids have since gone back to see the kids at the orphanages, and some of them have also sponsored some of the children. So it really does have quite a profound effect. So what I'm saying is, don't say no to anything, because you do not know where it's going to lead you. Lynn said before that, 10 years ago, if I thought I would be standing here in my, I don't wear those, her active wear, yes. 10 years ago, 6 years ago, I would not have thought of the things that I am doing now. And I love life. I have a ball. I don't say no to anything. I won't die of boredom. I'll probably die of exhaustion, but that's okay. It is just get out there. Find, you've got lots and lots of people here. I'm looking at some who are really crafty. There's people here who organise bike rides, walking groups. It's about getting involved with people. I was really sad when we found out that so many women over 50 in particular, and it's not just women over 50 that are lonely, that really upset me. This whole night started, can I tell you, I took Janice to Geelong. She had to have some treatment done on her eye and she couldn't drive home. So this started with a conversation, and I said, we used to do something like that in Warracknabeal where I used to live, and we used to bring all of these things. And this is how tonight started. It was just a conversation. We just said, let's do it. So tonight is about trying to get you out there, find your passion. What is it? Don't get to the pearly gates and say, I wish I'd done that. And if you can't find somebody to help you get where you want to, keep asking people. You'll find someone that says yes. Just because you get a knockback, don't take it personal. It's just get out there. It's a big wide world. And we live in a beautiful part. So what I'm also going to do, I'm going to wind up here because I can talk. What I'm trying to say to you is trust your instinct. If your gut says something, listen to it. Don't let your ego say, no, I can't do that. No, I can't do that. Because yes, you can do that. You're all very powerful women. Just do it. Like the Nike ad says, just do it. It's life is too short. So what I am going to finish, sorry, because I can talk, is tonight we had a raffle. We had tickets for a raffle, and the Rotary Club of Colac are looking at, and we're still at the very, very early stages of trying to work out the legalities of it and how we're actually going to do it. But we're actually going to try and set up a house for crisis housing. We have houses here in town, but some of those houses are what they call transitional houses, so they can stay there for 12 months to get themselves set up, but we don't actually have enough of the crisis housing, like, in the middle of the night, the family's got to get out, all that type of stuff. So that's what we're actually doing. Jenny Hardy has very, very kindly donated in your little goodies bag, which you'll receive at the end of the night. There's a little card in there. For 5% of any purchases at Just Lovely will be going towards the crisis housing. So can I say thank you? But I'm also going to put it out there to all of you that we are going to need a lot of help to raise this money to get this house. So can I put it out there that you all pitch in and help? Because we need lots of ideas, and everybody has different ideas, but this is really, really important, and our community needs it. So I'm putting it out there to you. So just remember those 2 words. What is it? Back to what was something I've always wanted to do but haven't done this lifetime? Whatever it was for you, stop the excuses. Don't let your ego say, I can't do that. I'm not good enough to do that. Just do it. Find someone. Ask other people. Always network. But just ask people, you know, and it'll happen. Where there's a will, there's a way. So anyway, thank you.
Whew, this is a great night. Who's enjoying it? It is great. So, you know, when Kaye talks about, you know, it's funny, isn't it? Because I watch reactions. I'm a great reaction watcher. So Kaye says, you know, we're all here. We need this crisis house. And, you know, sad state of affairs that we need it, but we need it. That's the reality. So who's going to get behind it? And we get this little, you know, these tiny little buds of courage where you go, yes. Yeah, and that's the beginning of bravery and courage. That's the beginning of an exciting journey where you say, you know, yes, I do want to get involved. And, you know, it might be just a small way of getting involved. Might be getting a book of raffle tickets to sell. It might be, if you're in business, donating something that can be raffled. It might be organising an afternoon tea with your friends where you do something silly and everyone puts in a bit of money for the joy of it and put it towards the house. Who knows? Or it might be really fundamental when the house comes along and putting a paintbrush in your hand and painting some walls, or planting out a garden, or knitting some squares for a rug to put on blankets in the bed. You know, there'll be 1,000,001 ways that we can contribute. Who are the crafters in the room? Come on, I know there's some sly old crafters sitting in here. I could spot them a mile away. Okay, you know, so your skills may be needed there. It might be that next time you have a bag of clothes you want to throw out, ring Kaye and see if they might be useful in the crisis house, because sometimes people arrive with nothing but what they've got on their back. And not only clothes, but bags. And I often know in those crisis centres, from stuff I've done before, that we forget about those fundamentals. We go and donate clothes, and we often donate, you know, new toiletries and things for them, and they've got nothing to carry them in. You know, so don't throw out your old suitcase because it's only got 2 wheels and now you've got the flash 4-wheel one, because someone will be really grateful for that 2-wheel one that you've hardly ever used. So just about thinking differently and thinking about, you know, what an abundance we have by comparison. And sometimes we talk about things that really are very first world problems. And we live in an abundant society, in an abundant country, and I don't just mean in material things. You know, we have an abundance of opportunity for our children to be educated. And you think about that story that Kaye told about, you know, children living in dumps in Thailand that are grateful for a 16-year-old girl to teach them to read and write. Now, our children never experience that. So let's be really grateful and let's share the abundance that we have, and every small little step can help. And I know Kaye's going to be inundated with offers of help, because all those little yips will suddenly blossom and grow, and it's a great thing to get involved in.